All right, so the pelvic girdle and leg is made up of the three bones of the pelvis. So the ilium, the ischium, and the pubis. One ilium, ischium, and pubis makes up the os coxae, and you have two of those. So there's one on each side. So getting into the ilium first. So the ilium is the large bone. This is the bone that has the iliac crest on it. And you kind of see here where the bone is fused to both the pubis and the ischium. So you have the iliac crest, the iliac fossa. You have the sarcoiliac joint is the location of the sacrum and the ilium. So sacrum and ilium come together, and that forms the sarcoiliac joint. You have the greater sciatic notch. So I'm going to turn this around here. You have greater sciatic notch right here. Lesser sciatic notch right there. The terminal line forms what I call the rim of the bowl. So that's right here. This is the terminal line. And it travels all the way around. So it's like the rim of the bowl that forms the inner pelvis. And that's everything for the ilium. So then the ischium is the smaller bone in the back. So the ischium is right back here. And you have the ischium and then the ischial tuberosity. The ischial tuberosity is a point of attachment for some of the muscles. And then the last bone that makes up the pubic or the pelvis is the pubis. So here's the pubic bone. And with that, you have the pubic symphysis. That's this piece of cartilage here that holds the two halves together. The obturator foramen. The obturator foramen is right down here. You could see this hole. That's the obturator foramen. And then you also have the acetabulum. The acetabulum, here I have this leg removed to show the acetabulum, is the indent where the head of the femur articulates. So you can see on this side how that all fits together. And that all collectively makes up the pelvis. So moving on to the femur then. So the femur is the longest bone of the body. And you have the head of the femur right here. And you can see it's much smoother than the rest of the bone. The neck is much clearer than in the humerus. So you can see that the neck is right there. You have the greater trochanter, which is this larger lump at the top, and lesser trochanter, shaft of the femur. You have the medial condyle and lateral condyle. So again, just looking at it and using our words, you have the medial condyle and the lateral condyle over here. Medial condyle, lateral condyle. And then you have your intercondylar fossa. The intercondylar fossa is at the back of the femur. You could see this indent right here. That's the intercondylar fossa. Your patella is your kneecap. So there's your patella. And then, all right, so we have the patella right here. And then we're going to move on to the bones of the lower leg. So there's two main bones of the lower leg, the tibia, which is the larger of the two. So your tibia is this bone right here. And then your fibula is this thinner bone right here. This is a non-weight bearing bone. All the weight of the lower leg is transferred through the tibia. You have your medial condyle, which pairs up with the medial condyle of the femur, and your lateral condyle, same with the femur. And these two, this widening here is what gives your knee stability. So you have that lateral movement stability as a result of the widening of the top of the tibia. You have your tibial tuberosity. So that's this lump right here. And this is the point of attachment for the patellar tendon. So the tibial tuberosity is where your patellar tendon attaches. The patellar tendon goes from here up to the patella and keeps that in place. Your quadriceps all attached to the patella, so all four muscles have tendons embedded within the patella. So the patellar tendon becomes really important in that it keeps the quadriceps in place. You have your distal tibiofibular joint. Distal tibiofibular joint is all the way down here, distal, and it's the joint between the tibia and the fibula. So that's this area right here, distal tibiofibular joint. And then you have your medial malleolus, which is the inside of the ankle, and that's that part of the ankle that you can all feel when you reach down on the inside of your foot. You can see that you have that lump right there. That's your medial malleolus. So then the parts of the fibula. So I'm going to switch over to this leg here. So the fibula has a head. So the head of the fibula is right up here. This is the head of the fibula. And then you have your lateral malleolus. So that's the outside of the ankle. And you could feel that as well on the outside area. That was one of our anatomical landmarks. And then we move to the foot. And the foot has the tarsals. So just like the wrist has carpals, the foot has tarsals. So I'm going to try to position this here. Let's see if I can do it. All right, so back at the foot now, we're looking at the tarsals. So these are all the tarsals, just like the carpals in the wrist. The tarsals start with the talus. So the talus is right here, and it articulates with the tibia. So this is the talus. Then you have the calcaneus, which is the heel bone over here. Calcaneus. You have your cuboid, which is the most lateral of the bones, the cuboid. And then you have your medial, intermediate, and lateral cuneiforms. So going all the way over to this side, you have your medial, intermediate, and lateral cuneiforms. And then you have your metatarsals. And just like the fingers, they're numbered 1 through 5 from the big toe to the small toe. So this would be metatarsal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just like in the metacarpals, you have a base, a shaft, and a head. Base, shaft, head. And then you have your phalanges, and you have your proximal, medial, and distal phalanges, with the big toe only having a proximal and distal.